Everyone, and welcome to the Forward Podcast. I'm your host, Thomas Shepard, and unfortunately tonight I am here all by myself, and Carrie could not make this episode. We just got back from a trip here recently, and our life, y'all know this, anyone who tunes in and listens to the Forward Podcast and or knows us knows that life is extremely busy, and we're just kind of in one of those seasons heading into the month of October that's where we're at. And so we kind of got together and just agreed, hey, there's a couple things that I think would be a help to us that I would be able to kind of conquer alone. And so that's what we're going to do this evening. But just want to take a moment and just thank everybody each and every week. Man, you're such a constant encouragement really to this podcast, and just for your shares, your comments, your likes, and man, just the feedback is always it's just so encouraging to know that there's people all around that are being helped. And that's our goal. It's why we started this, 80 plus episodes ago, is to be a help and to be an encouragement and to get your family and yourself talking. And it's pretty awesome to know that, man, we're in a lot of different countries each and every week now. And then also knowing that there's teenagers that listen to this, young couples, married couples who've been married for a very long time, some with grandchildren. And so it's hitting kind of all ages. And we didn't know how it would go, but man, after a year and a half, God's just been so good. So thanks so much for tuning in each and every week. I did just want to say, just commercial break real quick. 2026, February 2026, February 16th through the 26th, Carrie and I are hosting an Israel trip with our church family. And we do just have a couple spots that have opened up. And if you and or somebody from your church would be interested in jumping on a bus with us and going over, man, I'd love to send you some information. We're going to have just an incredible time. Believe it or not, I have never been, neither has Carrie. And so if you want to experience this, maybe for the first time with us, we would love to have you go. So just shoot me a DM and or you can get in touch with me at the Forward Podcast. And I think that is at outlook.com, pastorshepard@me.com. Just I'm on, Carrie and I both are on Instagram, Facebook, and also X. And so again, if you want to DM, hey, we'd like to know a little bit more about the Israel trip, we'd love to shoot that over. Well, Carrie and I just came through a very busy season of life, and for the Shepherds, it's nothing new. It's not a complaint. It's not like, oh, this is so hard and we're so miserable. It's one of the reasons we have this podcast is to let a younger generation know one of the greatest things you could do with your life is surrender to God's will. And whether that is being a doctor, owning your own business, or like Carrie and I being in full-time ministry, it's the greatest life when you surrender your life to God. Carrie and I are now 20 years in the ministry, and I feel like we always say, man, if we can get through this month, things will slow down. We get through these weeks, but it doesn't. It's the life that we live, and we were made for it. For some people, I know it probably drives them nuts looking at our life and raising 5 kids. Carrie's the business owner, a pastor's wife. She's a mom. She is a wife to a very needy husband. That's me. And man, she crushes it all the time. Like, I'm married up. Y'all, I'm just telling you, I'm married up. She's an incredible woman. And then for myself, being in full-time ministry, I am a senior pastor, and Cross Point Baptist Church has been just God's just doing great things there. And so we're in a thriving church. We've got a Christian school, and we're raising 5 kids. We do a podcast. Right now I'm teaching 2 classes for Veritas Baptist College. And so life is very busy for us. And so there are these moments of time that Carrie and I have dedicated. We've talked about dating before. We've talked about family trips before, but Carrie and I just got back from a trip, just her and I, and it was to do some ministry training. So this might not resonate with everyone, but I think everybody um, you can make this applicable to your life, whether you're in ministry or not. I think what I have to say this evening is going to be very important, and that is things that Carrie and I learned while we were just away. It was her and I. We went down. And had some time away, and again, just for some ministry refreshment. And we did come back just that. We came back refreshed. Some things we learned. And so I wanted to give you just a couple key thoughts about this. And I don't want to be real long in this because adding Carrie's voice is so important. But from my perspective, here's some things that I took away from it. First of all, rest isn't lazy. And now listen very carefully. Rest isn't lazy. It is strategic. And stepping away helps a couple and or an individual come back, and they're coming back stronger, and they're coming back with a clear mind. I was brought up in an era of ministry that very much heavily pushed. Um, it was almost bragging rights that there was no rest. I work 7 days a week. I haven't taken a vacation in 3 years. Bless God, we just push through, and just this almost badge of honor that we don't even get sick. No, we don't have time to get sick. And the sad thing is very ungodly. The more I've studied the Word of God, the more I see rest is vitally important. And we've talked about before, our churches, if we're not careful, can stress the family. We can kill cohesiveness in the home by trying to schedule everybody's lives. And what I have learned over the last several years, and it took me a while, if you're young to ministry, I didn't come with this overnight, but rest isn't being lazy. It's being very strategic. And Christ did it, and Christ taught it. Rest is there. He gave us a whole day to rest. God himself. There's so many illustrations of the Word of God. It would be foolish to think I don't have time to rest. Like we just don't stop. And then especially to try to brag about it. For Carrie and I, we've just learned for our ministry, if our people want the best from their pastor and pastor's wife, there has to be moments when we do get away and we take family vacations. We get away with the Clayton side and the Shepherd side. But this was very strategic in that Carrie and I got away for a specific reason, and that reason was to rest, be together, and then we ourselves were able to worship. We ourselves were able to get things right. We were able to hear preaching and teaching. And so the first thing we learned is rest is not being lazy. It's very important in the life, especially someone who is in ministry. Secondly, Carrie and I learned that we're better together. And being away without our kids as a couple reminds us of why we started this journey together to begin with 19 years ago. And that is Carrie and I are better together. This podcast is better when Carrie and I are on it. Carrie is a helpmeet. Carrie is the person that I want to do the rest of my life with. It's an adventure. It's fun. And in these moments, being on an airplane together, running around Orlando, Florida together, talking through sessions together, just spending that time just is once again a reminder we are better together in ministry, in raising kids. There's not an aspect that we would say, well, no, we do this better without each other. Life is just so incredible when you realize God gave you a spouse and you get to do this time together. I also learned that perspective is very powerful. Distance, you begin to see when you get away from life and you interrupt it with a little bit of rest and training. Distance helps you see life, ministry, and also your calling with fresh eyes. And so if you're a pastor listening to this, I think it's vitally important that you allow your staff or your administrators or even your deacons get them away somewhere where they are able to see other ministries. They're able to be around other people from different states or different countries. They are able to get out of the little bubbles that we are in. And I know that there are some who are just scared of this. What if I send my youth pastor away and he comes back with these weird ideas? And I just think that's it's almost inconceivable that we would just try to cloister or stay to ourselves and not get some vision or some fresh eyes by looking at different ideas, looking at different ministries, talking about different methodology. It's all very healthy. It's done with the right perspective. And even for Carrie and I, just being able to get away for a little bit allows us to come back and to view things of things we need to do and change and get excited about. If I could show you, Carrie makes fun of me because I write things down. I'm a journaler. And I've used a full focus planner, and this is not, I'm not pushing them, but it's a great system. It works for me. But man, you should see on the way home, my planner just full of writing ideas and this and just excited about that fresh perspective of coming home. And here's some things we want to do and things we want to change. And I would say, this is my opinion. Go somewhere where you're in a conference where you're encouraged, not somewhere where you're beat up and you feel bad and I don't live up to their expectation and oh, I didn't give in the offering and I didn't. I would go to a conference where you feel refreshed. You don't feel judged. You just are who you are, and you're just this little independent church that rolls in there and wants to pick up some good and wants to give some perspective and some ideas and some opinions. And I would highly recommend that's the kind of conference that you want to find. And for everybody, that's different. We're all going to have different opinions on who that is and or which one that is. But then also getting away, Carrie and I learned, I wrote this down, that you're not alone. It was really amazing to be with other pastors and their wives from around the country that go through the same things that Carrie and I go through. They're lonely at times, just like we are. They have highs and lows and every emotion in between. There's the struggle of life and ministry and finances and working on health in our 40s. And you just begin to learn that, man, you're not alone in this thing. And Satan is very crafty and he's very good at making us all think, man, we're in this thing alone, and man, there's nobody else out there like us, and everybody else is just compromising, and nobody else is holding firm, and it's just, to be honest with you, there's a lot of lies. There's a lot of good men and women out there that are just hand to the plow, moving forward, doing God's work, people getting saved and baptized. And for me, I always am refreshed that I don't always align philosophically with everyone, but man, we're friends and we love each other and we're centered around the gospel and we're moving forward and people are planting churches and sending out missionaries and raising money and building buildings. And man, then they're going through the same struggles we're going through and their counseling is dull in this area and they need to be sharpened in this area. And you can just encourage each other. And getting away does just that. It reminds us that we are not alone. Another thing I wrote down was refueling is required. It's something that I learned in my early years and I wish I would have. So if you're early in ministry or you're bivocational and or you just help out in a church, it's so important that you cannot pour out consistently if you're not getting full, if you're not filled up yourself. And that is what Carrie and I try to do at least once a year, is to go and to get full. Where there's times we can go to the altar, there's times we can pray, there's times we have people pouring into our lives, and we can go to sessions and have roundtable discussions, and we can hear preaching, and we are able to worship without worrying about the time or who's here, or the visitors, or the nursery's full, or where's the worker, or why are those people walking out. If you're in ministry, every 52 weeks a year, you're not worshiping, that's for sure. And so if you're going to pour out, you have to allow others to pour into your life. And finding a conference or finding a time to get away or I'll just getting an Airbnb somewhere, even if it's close, to be able to study the Word and spend time praying together and writing plans and getting excited about the ministry once again. It's so important in your life. And the same is true even if you're not in ministry. Have those moments that you and your family can get away, and it's fun, it's exciting, yes, but take the moments to be able to plan. Here's what we want to grow as a family. Here's what we want to do with our finances. Here's where do you see us in 2 or 3 years if God tarries? That is just so exciting to me, and I love that type of planning out. And you say, "Well, I'm not. I don't have your personality." It's okay. Maybe you married one, or one of your kids are, and so feed into that for them. But just realize you have to get refilled every once in a while. Refueling is required, especially if you're in ministry. I also said this, that fun matters. This is just me. It's my podcast. I can say what I want. And so here it goes. I'm not real big on conferences where you go in and it's just all business. Like you come back and your deacons and everybody's like, gotta go. All right, give us the deets. Like, let's go. And you went and you were just beat up and you feel bad and you're so tired because it's morning till night sessions and you flew red eye there and you got the cheapest flight on the way back. So you're like Spirit Airlines, then you're jumping on a Frontier flight to be able to catch. It's just, that's, I don't want to say stupid, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about going somewhere and yes, having somebody pour into your life, but there needs to be moments during that time that you're having a good time as well. It's refueling, yes, but man, you're laughing, you're exploring, you're making memories to refresh your soul. The conference that Carrie and I just went to, we always try to choose one or pick one to where we have a day or two where we can do just that. We could sit and we could talk and we can laugh and we can explore. We can soak up some sun and get that vitamin D and just pour it into each other's lives. It's heartbreaking to see how many couples are leaving the ministry because they haven't poured into their marriage. And I'm telling you, in a an environment in a society where the divorce rate is equal among saved and lost, it just goes to show you we've not done our part somewhere. And we have to change that. We could sit around and complain about it, and or we could be the change that we want to see. And I just refuse to pour in the finances and the money and not invest in our marriage. And that's what Carrie and I constantly do when we plan these things is we want to pour into our marriage. We want to pour into each other. We want to look in each other's eyes after this May will be 20 years of marriage and still have that twinkle and still laugh and still say, I like you. I just don't love you. Like I like you and I love hanging out with you and have a blast and laugh and be with other couples that want to do the same and not just heavy and let's just talk about ministry and how hard life is. No, have those couples that you can be around and laugh and talk about God and how good Jesus is and your kids and the fun things to do in our incredible country in which we live. And I'm just recommending to everyone, whether you can't afford it or you can find something that is in your range or around you that, man, you could just get away and get that reprieve that you need. Life is busy and it's not going to stop. It's not to say, I wish we could go back to the Andy Griffith days, and we're not going to. Life is busy and life is tough and life's 100 miles an hour. But we can make the most of the time that God gives us on this earth by every once in a while just taking those times, rest, investing in our health, investing in our spiritual life, investing in our marriages. I highly recommend it. If you like more tips on kind of this subject, let us know. I'll go into more detail of how Carrie and I plan and what we do and kind of what we expect. And There really is. We can all make excuses, and or we can just get busy and do it and plan. And if we can be a help in that at all, please let us know. We love to help out. Again, thanks for being here. Sorry my wife couldn't be on tonight, but we'll get her on this next episode, and we'll continue heading into these fall months. Hope that you're moving forward, and we're going to do the same this week.